the show, and happy...
Los Angeles Raiders are serious investors. And before anyone could say Marcus Allen on Sunday, the Silver and Black realized a profit from their return. Colton Walker's 70-yard punt return lit up the scoreboard for the Raiders, but the Eagles prove that turnabout is fair play. For only the fourth time in the history of the league, both teams returned a punt for a touchdown, as Greg Garrity ran this one back for the Eagles. The lead changed hands 6 times as each team mirrored the other with big plays. Quarterback Jim Plunkett connected with Jesse Hester for 2 long scores, including this 81-yarder that put the Raiders on top 24-20. And Eagle quarterback Randall Cunningham found Mike Quick for 3 touchdowns. The Eagles held a 27-24 lead in the fourth quarter, but the Raiders forced an overtime with a last-minute field goal. But in overtime, turnovers finally caught up with the Raiders. Andre Waters, number 20, scooped up Marcus Allen's fumble and sailed 81 yards to the Raiders' 4. Although Dokie Williams saved the score, 2 plays later, quarterback Cunningham took it in himself. The Eagles achieved an improbable upset 33-27, proving they can win the close ones and making up for so many heartbreaking losses this season. The last time Seattle spent their Thanksgiving holiday in Dallas, they were humiliated 51-7. This year, however, they were humming a different tune, despite the fact that the Cowboys struck first. Tony Dorsett ignited the holiday fireworks with this touchdown, but the team he sparked was not his own. Myron Franklin, number 88, helped quarterback Dave Craig to a big day. Franklin caught 1 touchdown pass, and the Craig to Steve Largent connection was alive and kicking. Seattle scored on each of its first 4 possessions, and the AFC's leading rusher, Kurt Warner, had another 100-yard game. Warner's touchdown iced the game as the Seahawks roasted Dallas for their Thanksgiving Day feast 31-14 to keep their slim playoff hopes simmering. A winning recipe in football is often good defense, good running, and a good quarterback. The Los Angeles Rams seem to have found the missing ingredient for their playoff drive, as rookie quarterback Jim Everett continues to impress opponents. Recently acquired Kevin House, number 83, turned this pass into a 60-yard scoring play, while futility and turnovers marked the Jets game. Jerry Gray's jarring hit forced Wesley Walker to fumble away this perfect scoring opportunity. Nolan Cromwell, number 21, buried the ball as the Rams went on to bury the Jets. Eric Dickerson caught New York with only 10 men on the field for this touchdown. The Rams' 17-3 victory solidified their standing atop the NFC West and left the Jets searching for their offense as they dropped their second straight without scoring a touchdown. They certainly got their money's worth, for the Dolphins provided them with all the excitement that's inherent to a football game, as well as the hijinks that can only be found at a circus. touchdown turned touchback that was ultimately called back had to make even a cynical Dolphin fan laugh. But Miami probably found nothing at all funny about the way Dan Marino was tossing the football. Atlanta intercepted Marino 3 times in the first half, taking a 10-0 lead before the Miami quarterback finally connected with his receivers, not Falcon defenders. Atlanta, playing without starting quarterback David Archer, could not match Miami's passing attack. Instead, they churned out over 200 yards on the ground. 4 big ones coming in the final quarter when quarterback Turk Schonert battled his way in for a touchdown. The Falcons and their fans took home a 20-14 victory that all but ended Miami's chances of reaching the playoffs. In Minnesota, the last-place Buccaneers wore the tired and bored look of a team that can't wait for the 1986 season to end. And that pregame lethargy literally carried over to the playing field. Tampa Bay didn't score a touchdown until the game's final minutes. Meanwhile, the Vikings had little trouble punching holes through the NFL's worst defense. Teddy Brown, number 23, scored 1 touchdown and set up another with a 60-yard run. And despite the absence of Tommy Kramer, still out with an injury, the Vikings' passing game didn't miss a beat. Backup quarterback Wade Wilson enjoyed his finest day as a pro. The Texas native hit on 22 of 33 passes for a career-high 339 yards and 3 touchdowns. Minnesota sent the sluggish Bucs packing with an impressive 45-13 victory. The Washington Redskins went into their game last Sunday in St. Louis needing just 1 victory to clinch an NFC playoff berth. And in the early going, the Cardinals appeared to be easy pickings for the red-hot Redskins. Jay Schrader tossed a pair of touchdown passes to stake Washington to a 17-10 halftime lead. St. Louis, however, hung on and displayed a fighting spirit that had been absent from their game all season long. A 35-yard Neil Lomax to Roy Green's scoring strike tied the contest at 17 late in the 4th quarter. But after being shut down in the second half, the Redskins rallied, setting up a Max Zendejas go-ahead field goal with just 4 seconds left. The Redskins had to postpone their victory celebration for just a little. After all, there was time for a kickoff, and miracles have been known to happen. Cardinals came up short, but they probably set a league record for the most players handling the football on a single play. The Redskins prevailed 20-17 to stay tied with the New York Giants for the NFC East lead. That deadlock will likely be decided when those plenty of snow for skiing and a division-leading football team are the keys to a perfect winter in the city of Denver. However, last Sunday, the Broncos' winter paradise was invaded by the abominable snowman, who arrived in the form of the Bengal running attack. Number 32, Stanley Wilson, and Larry Kinnebrew, number 28, each scored first-half touchdowns to give Cincinnati a 14-10 lead. But Denver's run defense is one of the NFL's best, And as the game wore on, it became much tougher sledding for the Bengals ground game. The Broncos held Cincinnati scoreless in the third quarter as the Bengals' ball handling problems began to snowball. Denver's offense, on the other hand, had no problem grasping the football as quarterback John Elway threw for 3 touchdown passes. Running back Sammy Winder, number 23, added a third quarter rushing touchdown to help give Denver a 34-14 advantage. But any thoughts of coasting the final period were quickly put to rest by Cincinnati's Boomer Esiason and Chris Collinsworth. Two fourth-quarter hookups tightened the score to 34-28. Unfortunately for Cincinnati, the final score read the same. While the loss dropped the 8-5 Bengals out of a first-place tie with Cleveland in the AFC Central, the Broncos' victory secured their hold on the top spot in the AFC West. With a 10-3 record, Denver's prayers are apparently being answered, unlike the winless Indianapolis Colts, who are in dire need of some divine intervention. Against Dan Fouts and the Chargers, 2 interceptions appeared to be just the message from up above that the Colts were waiting for. Number 21, John Holt's 80-yard return was befitting a team on a mission, but the offense failed to capitalize on the turnover, convincing Colt fans that the only mission their team is capable of accomplishing is securing next year's number 1 draft choice. Indianapolis managed only 3 points on the afternoon, while Fouts led the Chargers to 2 scores, including this tipped touchdown to Wes Chandler. Despite the 17-3 win, San Diego is destined to finish in last place in the AFC West. Without Jim McMahon, Chicago's final destiny is more uncertain than Bear fans would like to admit. But against the Steelers, there were few who doubted the Bears' ability to clinch their 3rd division title. An aborted field goal attempt that resulted in a touchdown gave Pittsburgh a 10-3 third quarter lead. However, number 58, Wilbur Marshall, and the rest of the defense shut down the Steeler attack, allowing the Bear offense the opportunity to get back into the game. Halfway through the final period, Walter Payton tied the score with a 3-yard touchdown run. Kicker Kevin Butler missed the last-minute field goal attempt to win the game, but in the overtime, Butler redeemed himself with a 42-yarder. The 13-10 win kept the Bears tied with the Giants and Redskins with a league-high 11-0. Only the Oilers stood between the Browns and their 9th victory of 1986. A touchdown by the Browns' Brian Brennan, number 86, was a thing of beauty. But a jittery, weak-kneed performance by both offenses made this an ugly game. Ugliness came in the form of 8 fumbles and 9 interceptions. The torture continued into overtime, where newly acquired Browns kicker Mark Mosley mercifully broke a 10-10 tie. Mosley's 5th game-winning overtime kick set an NFL record as Cleveland took over first place with a 13-10 victory. Victory has been an elusive commodity for Forrest Gregg and the Green Bay Packers. But on Thanksgiving Day, a blocked punt by number 97 Tim Harris helped propel the Pack to their 3rd win. But for most of the game, Green Bay saw the Detroit Lions riddle their young defense. When rookie Gary James, number 32, leveled a blitzing linebacker, Jimmy Giles picked up an easy Lion touchdown. But it was an obscure second-year receiver for Green Bay that commanded center stage. Number 87, Walter Stanley, replaced injured Philip Epps and caught 4 passes for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. The effervescent Stanley created the kind of enchanting, exotic choreography that would have got him slam danced to the bench permanently by Vince Lombardi. Fortunately, in these more permissive times, Stanley was still around as the Packers trailed 40-37 with 41 seconds left in the game. The 83-yard touchdown by the Stanley Steamer produced a dramatic 44-40 Green Bay victory. But the ghosts of the glory years would have shuddered at these new wave celebrations. Shuddering was the proper body movement in frigid Arrowhead Stadium. But the Buffalo Bills found a fired-up Kansas City Chief team that was fighting for their playoff lives. The hard-hitting Chief defense denied the Bills with dazzling play, while the offense was crisp and precise. But a touchdown by Stephon Page that produced an early lead was quickly overturned by 2 scoring passes by Bills quarterback Jim Kelly. Trailing by 3 points with 19 seconds remaining, the Chiefs' playoff hopes rested on the usually reliable toe of Nick Lowry. The kick and the playoffs sailed left as the crushed Chiefs lost their 3rd straight, 17-14. Swimming against the tide has been the fate of the injury-riddled but gutty New England Patriots, who sought their 7th straight victory against the no longer lowly Saints. While Stephen's starring is one of many Patriot weapons, the Saints rely almost solely on rookie runner Reuben Mays, number 36. Mays' 157 yards rushing pushed him over 1,000 for the season, as New Orleans gained a 13-7 lead in the last quarter. But 2 stunning plays turned this game around. Mosi Tutupu's touchdown off a blocked punt gave New England the lead, but it was a pass that was never thrown by Saints quarterback Dave Wilson that gave them the game. Wilson's fumble was turned into a touchdown by Brent Williams, number 96, as the Patriots won 21-20 and gained a share of first place in the AFC East. The Giants and 49ers needed victories to stay at or near the top of their respective divisions. New York's offense hadn't scored a first-quarter touchdown all season long, and the 49er defense helped keep that record intact. San Francisco picked off 2 Phil Simms passes. The second by Carlton Williamson, number 27, set up the game's first touchdown. Wide receiver Jerry Rice scored from 11 yards out. Then minutes later took an end around for his second score. The 49ers' 17-0 lead at one time would have been too great an obstacle for the Giants to overcome. However, in 1986, Simms has engineered more than his share of comebacks. 2 Simms touchdown passes, one to running back Joe Morris, and another to wide receiver Stacy Robinson, tightened the score to 17-14. Robinson, who caught 5 passes for 116 yards, set up the go-ahead score with this 49-yard catch. Otis Anderson's 1-yard plunge gave the Giants a 21-17 come-from-behind win, keeping them tied with Washington at 11-2 atop the NFC East. Since the NFL merger in 1970, the Giants have reached